On a remote chain of volcanic islands, where black lava meets the crashing Pacific, lives a creature so strange, so perfectly adapted, it almost shouldn't exist. This is the marine iguana, Earth's only ocean-going lizard. A reptile forged in fire, sculpted by evolution, and pushed to its limits by an unforgiving world. Today, we dive into the life of a species that conquered the sea, ruled the rocks, and survived millions of years of chaos. This is the unbelievable story of the last living ocean dragon. To understand the marine iguana, we must travel back millions of years. Their ancestors were ordinary land iguanas, swept away from mainland South America on drifting mats of vegetation. When these early pioneers reached the newborn Galapagos Islands, nothing awaited them. No shelter, no fresh water, only scorching lava fields and violent waves, but isolation became their greatest teacher. Generation after generation, they transformed. Tails flattened into powerful paddles, claws sharpened into natural anchors, bodies darkened to absorb heat from a relentless sun. What emerged from this crucible was something entirely new, a reptile designed not for land, but for the ocean itself. Marine iguanas are the only reptiles on Earth that can swim out into the sea and dive for food. Their dense bones help them sink. Their powerful tails push them through freezing currents. Underwater, they move with careful efficiency. They slow their heart rate by half, conserving oxygen. They use UV-sensitive vision to detect algae on the rocks. They can hold their breath for nearly 45 minutes, though most dives last around 10. And as they cling to the submerged cliffs, they graze on the algae that coat the volcanic stone, acting as gardeners of the sea. Without them, algae would overwhelm the shoreline. Because of this, marine iguanas are essential to keeping the coastal ecosystem alive. But feeding in the ocean comes with a price. The waters of the Galapagos can be painfully cold. When a marine iguana surfaces, its body temperature can drop dangerously low. As soon as they return to land, they race to the black volcanic rocks, spreading themselves flat to gather the sun's heat. Their dark scales act like biological solar panels, pulling in warmth at remarkable speed. If they remain too cold for too long, they become vulnerable, unable to run, unable to climb, and unable to escape predators. Survival here is not just a challenge. It is a balancing act between life and hypothermia. Marine iguanas consume enormous amounts of seawater while feeding. If this salt stayed in their bodies, it would kill them. To survive, they evolved a remarkable trait. They sneeze out the salt through specialized glands in their nostrils. This creates a ghostly white crust on their heads, sometimes forming small horn-like ridges made entirely of salt. It's a look that once led Charles Darwin himself to describe them as impish, clumsy beasts. But this salt-spitting ability is one of evolution's greatest gifts, a biological filter that keeps them alive. Life in the Galapagos is never peaceful. On land, hawks, owls, and racer snakes watch from the shadows. Newborn iguanas fight for survival from their very first footsteps, sprinting across open lava while predators attack from every direction. Only a fraction ever reach adulthood. In the water, dangers multiply. Sharks patrol the reefs. Sea lions ambush from below. Moray eels wait in crevices. To defend themselves, marine iguanas rely on speed, camouflage, and their powerful whip-like tails. They rarely fight back. Instead, they evade. Survival for them is not about strength. It's about outlasting everything that wants to kill them. Life in the Galapagos is never peaceful. On land, Hawks, owls, and racer snakes watch from the shadows. Newborn iguanas fight for survival from their very first footsteps, sprinting across open lava while predators attack from every direction. Only a fraction ever reach adulthood. In the water, dangers multiply. Sharks patrol the reefs. Sea lions ambush from below. Moray eels wait in crevices. To defend themselves, marine iguanas rely on speed, camouflage, and their powerful whip-like tails. They rarely fight back. Instead, they evade. Survival for them is not about strength. It's about outlasting everything that wants to kill them. After mating, females travel inland, sometimes miles, to find loose sand for nesting. They dig deep tunnels, lay their eggs, and then leave them completely unguarded. The eggs incubate for 3 months under the beating sun. When hatchlings emerge, they are alone, unprotected, inexperienced, and surrounded by danger. Their sprint to safety is one of the most dramatic moments in nature. Every step could be their last. If they make it to the colony, they begin the same battle their ancestors have fought for millions of years. Marine iguanas are the gardeners and regulators of the coastal ecosystem. By feeding on algae, they prevent overgrowth that would smother reefs and disrupt fish populations. Their droppings fertilize nutrient-poor volcanic soil, supporting coastal plants and insects. In a world defined by extremes, they bring balance. From their ancient origins to their astonishing abilities, marine iguanas stand as a testament to evolution's power. They are survivors of volcanic fire, masters of the ocean, and a living link to a world long gone. They may look fearsome, they may seem alien, but they are one of nature's greatest success stories, proof that life, no matter its shape, will always find a way. This is the marine iguana, a creature both terrifying and beautiful, and one of the most extraordinary animals to ever walk the earth. Beneath the shimmering surface of the reef lives a creature so powerful and so advanced that scientists once questioned whether nature could have truly created it. The mantis shrimp, not a mantis, but one of the most extraordinary predators to ever evolve on Earth, has survived for more than 400 million years, outlasting dinosaurs, ancient sharks, and almost every major extinction event. It is a living relic sharpened by time, perfected through evolution, and hidden in plain sight. Its eyes alone make it seem alien, while humans rely on just 3 color receptors and butterflies use 5. The mantis shrimp sees the world through 16. It detects ultraviolet, infrared, and polarized light, and perceives secret patterns on shells, fish scales, and even reflections that no other creature can see. To a mantis shrimp, the ocean is not blue. It is a glowing universe of signals, warnings, and hidden colors that we cannot even imagine. Scientists still don't fully understand how its tiny brain processes such an overwhelming flood of visual information, and many believe it experiences reality on a level that no other living creature shares. But it is the mantis shrimp's weapons that made it legendary. Some species wield hammer-like clubs that accelerate faster than a .22 caliber bullet, delivering blows with enough force to shatter aquarium glass and pulverize crab shells instantly. Others carry razor spears so sharp and so fast that every strike triggers a violent explosion known as cavitation, a bubble that collapses with temperatures as hot as the surface of the sun. With each attack, the mantis shrimp effectively kills twice, first with the physical strike and then with the shock wave that follows. Even the sound of its punch can be heard through the reef. a tiny underwater thunderclap announcing that a hunt is over. This power fuels a life of conflict because mantis shrimp are fiercely territorial. When another shrimp invades their burrow, they unleash rapid-fire strikes that can split shells and tear through armor. And in desperate moments, they become cannibals, hunting smaller mantis shrimp when food is scarce. Their battles are brutal, lightning fast, and often final. Some confrontations last only milliseconds, a blur of motion ending with one shrimp victorious and the other destroyed. Yet beneath their violent reputation lies a surprising tenderness. Some mantis shrimp species form lifelong bonds, remaining faithful to a single partner for up to 20 years. They share a burrow, take turns gathering food, and work together to guard their bright, pearl-like eggs. When danger approaches, one parent stands at the entrance like a soldier, while the other shelters the young. Despite their fearsome abilities, they are capable of loyalty rare in the animal kingdom. They are also architects of the reef. Their burrows stabilize sandbeds, recycle sediment, and create microhabitats for countless small creatures. Remove the mantis shrimp, and entire reef communities weaken, proving that even the ocean's most violent hunter is also one of its quiet caretakers. Every tunnel they carve shapes the underwater landscape, influencing currents, ecosystems, and the lives of animals far beyond their own territory. The mantis shrimp is ancient, brutal, beautiful, and brilliant. A creature with the world's most advanced eyes, one of nature's most devastating weapons, and a resilience unmatched by almost any animal on the planet. It is a monster and a miracle all at once. A reminder that the ocean still hides secrets more shocking and more extraordinary than anything we could invent. And the mantis shrimp may be one of the greatest. Deep beneath the waves, hidden among coral sponges and rock ledges, lives one of the strangest and most fearsome predators on Earth, the frogfish. At first glance, it looks harmless, maybe even a little funny. But don't let that fool you. This is a master of disguise, a patient hunter, and sometimes a cannibal. Frogfish belong to a family of anglerfish, and they've been around for millions of years. Ancient survivors that perfected the art of ambush long before most modern species even existed. They didn't evolve for speed or grace. They evolved to disappear. Their bodies are short, lumpy, and covered in bumps, warts, and tiny spines that make them look exactly like a sponge or a patch of coral. Some can even change color to match their surroundings over time. Instead of swimming like most fish, they walk, using their pectoral fins like hands, crawling slowly along the sea floor, as if stalking the very ground they live on. It's eerie watching one move, like something caught between evolution and nightmare. But their real weapon is patience. The first spine on their head has transformed into a fishing rod, the Elysium, with a lure at the tip called the escake. They wave it gently in front of their face, imitating a tiny worm or shrimp. When an unsuspecting fish comes close enough to investigate, the frogfish strikes with lightning speed, one of the fastest attacks in the animal kingdom. In less than a blink, it opens its enormous mouth, creating a vacuum that sucks its prey inside whole. No chewing, no second chances, just gone. What's even more shocking is what they'll eat. Frogfish have been known to swallow prey twice their own size, and if food is scarce, they'll eat each other. Frogfish cannibalism is brutal and quick. One moment, two frogfish are side by side. The next, one vanishes into the other. Sometimes the meal is too large, and the predator's stomach literally bursts open afterward. The ocean has no mercy, and neither do they. They live solitary lives, perfectly adapted to their secretive worlds, from shallow reefs to dark volcanic slopes. Each species has its own camouflage style, blending into coral, seaweed, or sponges so perfectly that divers can swim right past without ever noticing. Some even mimic rocks or algae, covered in filaments that sway like living plants. Their story stretches deep into evolutionary history. The earliest frogfish ancestors date back tens of millions of years. Ancient anglerfish that mastered deception as survival. Over time, their bodies became compact ambush engines built for one perfect purpose: to lure, strike, and swallow. Even their reproduction is strange. When the time comes to breed, the female's body swells with eggs until she can barely move. She signals the male, and together they rise toward the surface, a rare moment of closeness in their solitary lives. She releases a massive, jelly-like sheet of eggs, sometimes tens of thousands at once. The male fertilizes them, and then they drift away in the currents, floating like a ghostly veil until the tiny frogfish hatch. Some species, like the psychedelic frogfish, even carry their eggs tucked against their bodies, protecting them until they're ready to hatch. The young emerge as miniature versions of the adults, already camouflaged, already hunters, already deadly. Every part of this creature's life is shaped by stealth and survival. It doesn't chase, it doesn't run, it waits, hidden in plain sight, blending perfectly into the living reef around it. It's nature's patience made flesh, silent, still, and absolutely unforgiving. And yet, for all its gruesome habits, the frogfish is one of the ocean's greatest works of art. Its colors can be breathtaking: bright oranges, yellows, blacks, whites, even fluorescent blues and pinks. Every species is unique, sculpted by evolution to vanish into its home. It's a living paradox, comical and terrifying, lazy and lethal, one of the most alien-looking creatures to ever evolve on Earth. In the vast story of marine life, few animals embody both beauty and horror the way the frogfish does. It reminds us that the ocean isn't just a place of peace. It's a world of constant deception, ambush, and survival. Somewhere down there, one of these strange little monsters is waiting, motionless, disguised as part of the reef, fishing for its next meal. And if you look close enough at the right rock or sponge, you might just realize it's looking right back at you. In the farthest reaches of Antarctica, where the wind cuts like broken glass and the sun circles the sky without ever setting, a tiny army marches. They are the Adélie penguins, pocket-sized warriors forged by the coldest continent on Earth. At first glance, they seem harmless, almost comical. A waddle, a stumble, a chirp. But beneath the feathers lies an athlete built for extremes. Their hearts beat faster than most birds their size. Their bones are dense like stones. And behind those marble black eyes is an engine of relentless determination. Every year, the Adélies perform one of the most dangerous migrations in the natural world. From the shifting labyrinth of sea ice, they travel hundreds of miles back to the exact nesting site their ancestors used for thousands of years. No map, no GPS, just instinct, an ancient compass written in their blood. Here, the real struggle begins. The males arrive first, alone. They drag smooth stones from the shoreline, piece by piece, building a nest that could decide the fate of their future family. Some steal rocks from neighbors. Some guard their stash like treasure. One misplaced pebble can mean the difference between surviving a storm and losing everything. When the females arrive, the rookery erupts into chaos. A sea of beaks and wings, thousands of penguins calling, searching, recognizing their partners by voice among a crowd of identical tuxedos. And yet, they find each other every time. But the Antarctic doesn't reward love without a test. The moment eggs are laid, the clock begins to tick. The parents take turns incubating, their bodies shielding the delicate shells from blizzards that could freeze exposed skin in seconds. Winds scream at 120 miles per hour, blasting ice crystals sharp enough to cut through fabric. Still, the Adelies endure, anchoring themselves against the storm like living statues. When the chicks finally hatch, they emerge into a world that does not wait for the weak. Their parents race to the ocean, diving into waters colder than liquid destiny, hunting krill with breathtaking speed. These magical creatures swim like arrows, slicing through the dark at nearly 25 miles an hour. Evading leopard seals, patrolling the edges like shadows with teeth. Back on land, the chicks shiver in creches, penguin daycare groups, while the adults take turns feeding and defending them. The rookery becomes a living city, noisy, frantic, and full of drama. Fights break out, siblings argue, skua birds circle overhead, eyes locked on an easy meal. But the Adelies are united by something stronger than fear, a shared instinct to survive. Weeks later, when the chicks are finally strong enough, they approach the shoreline for the first time. They hesitate. They stare into a frozen horizon that will either make them or take them. Then one chick jumps. The rest follow, an explosion of bravery. They vanish beneath the surface, leaving behind the land of storms and entering the kingdom of ice. Now they must learn to swim, feed, and navigate a world ruled by predators. Some won't return, but those who do will carry the story forward, a cycle repeated for millions of years, unbroken, unstoppable, and breathtaking. The Adelia penguins, tiny, fearless titans, proving that in the harshest place on Earth, in the silent kingdom of the Arctic Circle, where the sea smokes in the cold and the horizon glows with ghost light, there rises a creature carved from the old legends of the North, the walrus, a titan draped in thick folds of wrinkled armor, crowned with tusks that curve like ancient ivory swords. To some, its appearance seems lumbering, slow, almost comical. But here, in one of the harshest environments on Earth, the walrus is nothing less than a master of survival. Walrus life begins on drifting rafts of sea ice, floating continents that shift, crack, and collide like slow-moving tectonic plates. Here, mothers cradle their newborn calves, guarding them with a fierceness born from centuries of predators and prowlers. A walrus mother can recognize her calf by voice alone, even in a herd of thousands, their calls echoing across the ice like haunting, hollow bells. And though they appear peaceful, nothing about a walrus is fragile. Their skin can be nearly 2 inches thick. Their blubber is a fortress of heat, and their tusks, tools of dominance, ladders for climbing, weapons for defending, are capable of puncturing ice, flesh, and skull. Yet for all their power, the walrus battles a constant, consuming hunger. Below the ice lies their true domain, a cold abyss where the walrus becomes a creature of grace. They dive with astonishing control, descending hundreds of feet while holding their breath for up to half an hour. Down here, they sweep the seabed like living bulldozers, sucking clams from the mud, with a force so strong it can strip flesh from shell in an instant. But the Arctic is not generous. Food is scattered. Predators lurk in the shadows. The greatest of these enemies, the polar bear, patiently stalks the ice edge, waiting for a chance to separate a calf from the herd. But walruses are not easy prey. When danger appears, the herd transforms into a wall of bodies, surrounding the calves at the center. The adults bellow, clash tusks, and charge forward with a power that can crush bone. Still, not every threat comes on four legs. As summer creeps across the Arctic, the ice retreats, disappearing faster each year. For the walrus, the loss of ice means longer journeys, deeper dives, more energy spent, and less food found. Thousands crowd beaches in massive haulouts, piling on top of one another in a restless, bellowing mass. One panic, one spark of fear, and the entire colony can erupt. A stampede of giants. Yet in this chaos, the walrus shows a softer side. Calves rest their heads gently on their mothers. Adults lounge with their whiskers, brushing the sand. They murmur, grunt, and rumble in a language as old as the Arctic itself. In winter, the herds return to the drifting ice, navigating a frozen world in constant motion. Storms sweep across the sea. Winds sculpt the ice into towering ridges. In the moonlit darkness, the walrus continues its ancient rhythm, diving, feeding, climbing, surviving. Then, in a rare moment of calm, the Arctic becomes still. The ice stops shifting, the sky clears, a soft glow sweeps across the horizon. Here stand the giants of the frozen deep, scarred, powerful, and impossibly resilient. And though the Arctic changes around them, the walrus endures, holding to the rhythms written into their bones. For in a world carved from ice and shadow, it is not the fiercest that thrive, but those who can adapt, endure, and rise again, tusks first, against the frozen dawn. In the sun-scorched heart of Africa, where heat shimmers above the earth like a warning, there exists a creature forged by time, shaped by predators, and perfected by survival. It is neither graceful nor elegant. It is the wildebeest, the beast with the face of an old warrior and the stamina of a world-class marathoner, a living relic of an ancient past. Long before the first lions roared over the savannah, before the earliest humans shaped tools from stone, the ancestors of the wildebeest walked this continent. Their lineage stretches back over 1,000,000 years to early bovids that roamed the prehistoric plains alongside giant hyenas, saber-toothed cats, and towering elephants. The wildebeest you see today, the blue and the black, are the last surviving branches of a family tree that once included at least 7 now extinct relatives. And yet, somehow, against all odds, this creature survived. The wildebeest seems awkward at first glance. Part horse, part buffalo, part question mark. But every strange angle, every odd contour, is written in the language of survival. Its sloped shoulders allow for explosive bursts of speed, up to 50 miles per hour, fast enough to throw off even the most seasoned lioness. Its oversized nose acts like a living air conditioner, cooling hot African winds before they hit its lungs. And its hooves, sharp, hard, and thunderous, are shaped perfectly for long-distance travel, not miles, but hundreds of miles. Because the wildebeest is the engine behind the largest land migration on Earth. Every year, nearly 2 million of them surge across the Serengeti like a living river of muscle and horns. They walk, run, and storm forward with a single purpose: survival. No migration on the planet is as relentless, as dangerous, or as deadly. And here, in this endless march, we see the wildebeest's most astonishing trait: they fear death. Yet they race straight into it. During the Great Migration, an estimated 250,000 wildebeest die each year, trampled, drowned, eaten, crushed, or exhausted. But this gruesome truth carries a hidden brilliance. The wildebeest sacrifices its own numbers to feed the plains. Its deaths feed lions, hyenas, vultures, crocodiles, even the soil itself. Without the wildebeest, the Serengeti would starve. Its calves are born into chaos. A newborn wildebeest stands within 5 minutes, runs within 10, and by the end of the first day can outrun a human. If it can't, if it stumbles even once, hyenas waiting in the shadows drag it away. This is the brutality of the plains, and the wildebeest meets it head-on. Even their communication is extraordinary. A herd of wildebeest can talk across miles using low-frequency calls that rumble like distant thunder. And in massive herds, they synchronize their movements almost telepathically, turning, running, slowing, and accelerating as though controlled by a single invisible mind. But their most mysterious ability, navigation. Scientists still don't fully understand how wildebeest know when to move or where fresh grass will grow. Some believe they follow the distant scent of rain. Others believe their hooves sense vibrations in the ground. And some evidence suggests they may even detect Earth's magnetic field, a living compass guiding them across continents. This is not a mindless herd animal. This is a creature built by evolution to endure heat that melts tar, storms that shred trees, predators that hunt day and night, and rivers thick with crocodiles longer than a car. Yet they march on. For the wildebeest, survival is not an act of strength. It is an act of devotion to the herd, to the land, to the endless rhythm of life and death that echoes across the plains. And in this ancient dance, the wildebeest stands unmatched, a beast that has seen the rise and fall of species, outlived monsters of the past, and continues to shape one of the most powerful ecosystems on Earth. It is not beautiful. It is not graceful. It is something far more rare, an animal that has never stopped moving and never stopped surviving. In the burning heart of southern Africa, in a desert older than human history, lives an animal shaped by millions of years of survival. The meerkat may look small and playful, but its story reaches back over 50 million years to tiny tree-climbing carnivores called miacids, ancient hunters whose bones held the blueprint for the mongoose family. Climate disasters, droughts, and shifting deserts forced their descendants to evolve into specialists, animals that could find water where none existed and hunt in a world where the sun alone can kill. Their kidneys conserve moisture so efficiently that a meerkat can survive without drinking for days, living off the tiny droplets locked inside insects, grubs, and roots. Inside a meerkat mob, life is controlled by a strict hierarchy. At the top stands the dominant female, the undisputed ruler. She decides who breeds, who stays, and who gets expelled. If a subordinate female becomes pregnant, the dominant female may kill the rival's pups or drive her out entirely. Expulsion in the desert is often a death sentence. Even males have ranks, but their positions are more fragile. A wandering outsider can challenge the top male in sudden, violent clashes that leave both animals bloodied. This harsh order isn't cruelty. It's a survival system designed to keep the group stable in a landscape where failure means extinction. During mating season, life becomes even more dangerous. The dominant pair usually breeds, but females sometimes slip away at dawn to mate with males from rival groups, risking everything to bring in stronger genes. If caught, punishment is immediate and brutal. Fur ripped out, bites delivered with precision, and sometimes complete exile. Mating itself is fast and competitive. Males battle fiercely for access, and one well-placed bite to the spine can permanently injure a rival. These secret encounters help keep the mob genetically diverse, which is critical for surviving disease and harsh climate cycles. Daily life inside the mob runs like a perfectly coordinated machine. Each meerkat has a defined role. Sentries stand upright on mounds, scanning for predators with eyes sharp enough to spot an eagle hundreds of feet away. Foragers dig at lightning speed, tearing through sand to find insects, roots, and even venomous scorpions. Babysitters stay behind for entire days to protect the young, sometimes going hungry to keep the pups safe. Meerkats are also one of the only non-primate animals that deliberately teach. Adults bring pups scorpions with the stinger removed, letting them practice killing safely. As the pups grow, the adults present more difficult prey, gradually increasing the danger until the young can hunt on their own. When danger appears, the mob transforms from cooperative family into coordinated army. Meerkats can overwhelm and kill venomous snakes, puff adders, cobras, and desert adders by attacking from all sides in rapid bursts. Their partial immunity to scorpion venom lets them eat prey that would kill most predators their size. A single alarm call from a sentry can send the entire group diving underground in less than 2 seconds, disappearing into the safety of a tunnel system they have spent years constructing. Below the surface, meerkats act as engineers of the desert. Their burrows loosen compacted soil, allowing plants to take root. Their tunnels, once abandoned, become vital shelters for insects, lizards, birds, snakes, and other mammals. More than 20 species rely on meerkat burrows for survival. In a place defined by scarcity, their constant digging quietly sustains life, far beyond their own mobs. Yet, behind their charm lies a darker, seldom seen side. Meerkats commit infanticide more than almost any other small mammal. Territorial battles between mobs erupt into swirling fights of dust and shrieks, with bites so fierce that the ground can be left streaked with blood. During extreme shortages, pups may kill their own siblings to compete for food, and mothers have been known to consume stillborn young to regain nutrients needed to keep the rest of the litter alive. It is brutal, but in the Kalahari, brutality is often the only reason a species survives. In the heart of the world's deepest rainforests, hidden beneath canopies so dense that sunlight struggles to touch the forest floor, a shadow rules the treetops, a predator so powerful, so silent, and so ancient that even the animals that never see it still fear it. This is the harpy eagle, one of Earth's most formidable aerial hunters. Its lineage reaches back over 5 million years, descending from giant forest eagles that once hunted early primates. These birds survived epochs of climate shift, megafaunal extinction, and the rise and fall of civilizations, remaining largely unchanged. Because evolution, it seems, created near perfection, and left it that way. At 4 feet tall, with a wingspan stretching up to nearly 8 feet, the harpy eagle is not the biggest eagle in the world, but it is the strongest. Its legs are as thick as a human wrist, and its talons? Each one is the size of a grizzly bear's claw, 5 inches long, capable of exerting over 110 pounds of crushing force. That's enough to snap a monkey's bones instantly. And it often does. High in the canopy, the harpy doesn't soar on open winds like other raptors. Instead, it moves through the trees with stealth, a silent, ghost-like glide, weaving between branches with an agility that defies its size. It ambushes prey before they even know they're being watched, Sloths, monkeys, iguanas, opossums, animals built for climbing, hiding, or blending in, none can escape the eagle that hunts in 3 dimensions. But the rainforest has always had predators. What makes the harpy eagle different is not just its power, it's its precision. Their eyes can spot a small mammal moving from over 650 feet away, even through foliage. Their hearing is so sensitive they can track rustles in the leaves, and when they strike, they descend at 50 miles per hour, folding their wings at the last second like a living missile. Once captured, prey rarely struggles. Most are killed within 1 second by talons that puncture deeper than any bird alive. Harpy eagles don't need to chase their prey, they simply end it. But even apex predators have lives filled with tenderness. The harpy mates for life. A bonded pair may spend over 30 years together, raising chick after chick, just one every 2 to 3 years, making it one of the slowest breeding birds on Earth. The female, larger and more imposing, rules the nest. The male hunts tirelessly, sometimes bringing back animals nearly his own weight to feed the family. Their nests are enormous, 6 feet across, built more than 120 feet above the ground, usually in the same ancient tree for decades. When a chick hatches, it is almost helpless, and yet it will grow faster than almost any bird. At 6 months, it will be bigger than most hawks. At 9 months, it finally makes its first flight, often clumsy, often terrifying to watch, as the king of the canopy learns how to fly. Few animals prey on harpy eagles. Their only true threats are giant constrictor snakes, rare accidents, and humans. And yet, despite their fearsome strength, harpy eagles are vital guardians of the ecosystem. They keep populations of monkeys and sloths in balance, preventing overgrazing of new leaves. Without them, entire patches of rainforest could collapse under herbivore pressure. Protect the harpy eagle, and the forest breathes easier. Their range stretches from southern Mexico through Central America and deep into South America. Brazil, Ecuador, Colombia, the Guianas, anywhere untouched rainforest still stands. But deforestation has driven them back, and today, these once dominant birds are becoming increasingly rare. Some forests, where their ancestors ruled for millennia, are now nearly silent. Yet when you do see one, perched like a feathered titan, lightning bolt crest raised, eyes forward and unblinking, you feel something ancient stir, something primal. Because the harpy eagle is not just a bird. It is a living reminder of what power really looks like. A creature older than human civilization, silent as a shadow, precise as a blade, strong enough to snatch a monkey from a branch, and terrifying enough to make even apex predators look up and think twice. This is the harpy eagle, the rainforest's phantom, the treetop's executioner, and one of the most extraordinary predators the world has ever known.